here I am at Meals Plus, ministry that's part of PCUC, Parramatta Community United Church, serving 300 meals for breakfast and lunch each day, amongst people who are homeless or impoverished or doing it hard, who need a bit of food or help, or sometimes it's to access the services that are provided around the meals, or a place to belong, conversation, people to talk to, help in life. Life is falling apart and they need someone to help them. This is a place they can come. It's a place of community, it's a place of life, it's a place of hope, it's a place of faith. And it's a wonderful place to be, and there's noise and laughter and all sorts of activity through the day, each day. When I first came to Parramatta Mission 37 years ago, Meals Plus didn't exist, but the ministries with homeless people, homeless men, and particularly women who are victims of domestic violence, them and their children, and later people who lived with mental illness and other struggles in life. It opened for me a whole new world, a world of people that always existed and always were around, but people I'd never seen. There were people who existed in the cities that I've lived in, Bankstown and then here in Parramatta. I probably walked past each day along the streets. People who lived in the parks and slept under bridges or wherever they could, who eked out an existence, who found meals and food and support wherever they could, but who are largely invisible to most of us. They walk the streets, they exist, but we don't see them. We may walk past them, we may look, we may notice at times, but we don't really see them. And when I came and saw the work that was happening and got engaged in it and met the people and learned to see, it opened up a whole world of life and experience and understanding that I'd never known. It opened my eyes. So many things in my life, and particularly as a minister and going into different places, being exposed to different things, has opened my eyes to new things and new ways. Way back when I was a young person and my mother contracted cancer and died, I'd heard of people with cancer and dying, but it wasn't part of my experience. It was over there and I didn't know people who had. And suddenly my world, my nice, neat, defined world was blown open. And suddenly I felt pain, deep pain. And I understood pain in a new way and I could see it in other people. I suddenly was aware of it. It wasn't always comfortable or easy. It was real. The same when I came to Parramatta Mission and when I come down to Meals Plus today, to meet people and to see people in another part of life, living in a different way, struggling with different problems and different issues in their lives, of seeing a bigger world, not always a good world or an easy world, but one that's real. And this week in John's story of Jesus is a story about seeing. It's about a blind man who sits by the temple gates. And I guess he's part of the furniture, so much part of the furniture that people don't really see him. They notice him as part of the gates. He's always there, asking for help, but they don't know him, they don't see him, they don't really look at him. Until the disciples asked Jesus, who said this man or his parents that he was born blind? It was a common assumption amongst many people at the time that blindness, illness, mental illness, disability, impoverishment, or whatever it was that drove people to the margins of life was a result of sin, that God was punishing them. And I guess in some ways it exists today when we look at people who are less well off, people sometimes who have mental illness or physical illness or disability or impoverishment or whatever it is, that's their fault. Something to do with it. They could have done, we blame them, we put the blame on someone else. We don't necessarily blame God. Some people might still do that. But it's a way of defining and controlling things. It's not about me, it's not what I've done, it's not my problem, it's yours. And it's not going to affect me. And Jesus says, no, it's neither this man nor his parents that sinned that caused the blindness. It just is. But because of his blindness, God will use that today to reveal you the glory of God and show you something new and open up a new world, a new opportunity for you to see. And he spits in the dirt and makes some mud, puts it on the man's eyes, and tells him to go and wash in the pool of Siloam, which he does, and he sees. And that's it for the miracle, because the rest of the story is really about how the people around this man, the community, the religious leaders, deal with his blindness that's now sight. They look at him and say, you look like the guy that sits at the gate, the blind fella, but it can't be you because you can see. So he says, yeah, it's me. So you're the guy that was sitting there. Yeah, it's me. How can this be? So he tells me. This man called Jesus made some spit out of the mud out of the dirt and put on my eyes, and I washed them, and now I see. How can that be so? I don't know. He just did it. You ask him. You don't know who he is. They take him to the Pharisees and religious leaders at the time, and they say, well, tell us the story. And he does, and he says, well, that can't be true. Well, it is. Look at me. I can see. Yeah, but, maybe you just look like the guy. No. They bring his parents in. Is this your son? Yep. Was he born blind? Yep. How come he can see now? I don't know. Ask him. He's of age. He'll tell you. And they ask him again, and he tells them. And they say, but that's impossible. This is a Sabbath day, and no one is allowed to heal on the Sabbath. God wouldn't do that. It's a holy day. It's against the law. So this man's breaking the law. He's a sinner. How can he be a God? I don't know. So who do you think he is, they say? He's a prophet. And then it goes on, and finally the guy believes this is one from God. This is someone greater, someone bigger, someone more significant of God. And then the people, the Pharisees write him off and write them off. They don't want to know. The man himself goes to Jesus, Jesus finds him, and they have a conversation. And Jesus says, yes, I am of God. And the man says, I believe, and worships him. This man who is blind actually sees what no one else can see, and the disciples won't even see till after resurrection. He sees in a deeper way. It's a process of experience and of this journey. And as the more people push him away and ask stupid questions, the more he realises that he's been healed by this one who is of God. But the others can't accept this as a miracle. They can't accept this as a reality because it challenges the status quo that they benefit from. They want to maintain their status quo, that they control the world, and that God wouldn't do this because God is about rules and laws and everything in its nice neat box. But Jesus blows the boxes open. God is not like that. God can't be controlled and defined. And if someone has a need today, whether it's Sabbath day or any other day, God shows compassion and love. But this story for John and John's community, writing 50, 60 years after Jesus, is about their lives. They are largely Jewish Christians, people who are at Judaism and who have become Christian, but they are being excluded from the synagogues now. The Jews who don't follow Jesus are excluding those who do. And they have had an experience where their eyes are open and these religious people won't see it, won't allow their worldview to be challenged or changed. And that's a lot like us. We get stuck in our own perceptions of the world, our view of the world and how it is. And when something happens to challenge that, we don't know what to do. We either resist it and deny it and keep in our little bubble, or if we allow it to blow our world open, we're overwhelmed. I wonder what it's like for a blind person who's born blind, to suddenly be able to see. It sounds like it's lovely. They see colour and the world and all these things they can see. But it must be really difficult. Suddenly they're confronted by colour, light, dark, it's bright. But they don't know what they're looking at. It's overwhelming. Now they're putting shapes and forms and colours to words and descriptions that they've had before, and trying to learn what they are. The words that they can speak are now appearing letters and they don't recognise them. The people who were around them who helped them dress in clothes that made sense, colours and styles, who went out and helped them buy clothes and food and show them where food was on the table and on the plate, who helped them get places, read signs of warning and danger and all these other things that people around them would have built their lives around helping them, now don't have a role. And so the status quo is challenged, broken open, and the world changes. And it's not always easy to adjust to that change. And yet in this story, what we're invited into is this way of God invites us to have our world opened up. Sometimes it's gently and gradually, and sometimes it explodes open. And we don't know what to do, we're overwhelmed, we're afraid, we're anxious. The control we think we had is being lost. And we're invited to walk in faith, to trust that this God who holds everything will hold us. This God in whom everything belongs will hold us, will keep us, will keep us in love and grace, and will help us to find our way into this big world. And the thing about having our world blown open is we do lose control, but we learn to be more open to the possibilities of people and different people coming together. Like here at Nurse Plus, where people from diverse backgrounds and cultures come together and share a meal, and share life and stories and laughter and pain and our community. And God is present in the interactions and in those who serve and share in the life that happens in this place. And when other people come in and see this, their lives change too. When we come in and we're part of it, our hearts are open. And we start to understand those who are different. And we begin to change. And we're open and more compassionate, more loving, more caring, more able to embrace diversity and difference and to hold it in a bigger picture that is about peace, love, grace, hope. All the things that are up here in the hall next to me, the words that they celebrate, like this one here. This is what our world needs. People whose world opens up to embrace others in diversity, difference, in love, compassion, and hope. That's what God offers us and invites us into. Amen.